So how much sperm does a man produce? Well, in a typical day, depending on the textbook, but the general range of how much sperm a man produces per day is around 250 to 300 million. So about a quarter of a billion is of sperm cells are produced by a man in any given day. Now, the thing is that remember, even though that sounds like a lot, it's not. This is the ones that produce, but in a typical ejaculation, there's still a lot. Approximately over 40 million sperm cells are produced per ejaculation. Now remember that most of the sperm, well, one, like 60% of them are actually alive, the other 40% are dead. And of that 60%, or actually of the overall, 40% can actually swim, and less than a quarter of it is actually viable and normal. So the thing is that this is why men produce a lot of sperm. The quality control is very poor, but how do they compensate? You just produce a lot more of it. So it's like those weird things you see like offered for way too cheap on Amazon. They produce a lot of it, but the quality is kind of sketch. All right, so how many sperm are needed to fertilize an egg? Well, the thing is that the egg has a half a set of chromosomes like the sperm do. So how much sperm do you need to make a whole? Half plus half, right? So you only need one sperm to fertilize an egg. You just need one. Just one needs to actually go past, make it all the way from the vagina, past the cervix, into the uterus, into the fallopian tube, past the corona radiata and zona pellucida, and finally deliver that half set of chromosomes and combine it with the half set of chromosomes inside an egg. Now, story time. Growing up, there was a neighborhood, like one of the girls down on the street where I grew up. So she was actually in high school. She was a cheerleader, and she used to do what was it? It's like basket toss or basket throw, where she was petite. She was like under 100 pounds, so like only four or something. And then she was the one that they would like toss up in the air and catch and do all those twisting and turns. And then later on, I don't think it was during prom. It was during some party. She gave birth in the bathroom. So the thing is that she didn't know she was pregnant. Yeah, and she was so slight in frame, she didn't show at all. And then all of a sudden, boom, she pops out a baby at a party. And then so that's the crazy thing too. Like she was doing all her cheerleading activities, doing all the backflips, being tossed around while carrying. And that's like, how could she not know? And the reason why she said she did. She said, "Oh, I did feel sick in the morning, but I didn't think I was pregnant because my boyfriend and I only did it twice." Yeah, it's like, okay, twice is like maybe 80 million sperm, but again, how many sperm are needed to fertilize an egg? So that's why it's like, oh, that's why we need sex education. I mean, we're not necessarily encouraging it, but so that people can make informed decisions. Anyway, so then aging and male fertility. So this is grouping men by age, and here we have teenagers, and then men who are past middle age and nearing retirement. So what happens to birth rates? Like how many of these? This is talking about how the age of the father per thousand men. So of all the babies born in 2002, what we see is that okay, most of the babies were born to men within the 20s to 40 range, but as you get to 55 and older, you have fewer and fewer men. So does that mean men are infertile past 55? Not necessarily. So it's like one of those calculus things. It approaches zero, but it's not quite at zero yet. So again, you just need one sperm to combine with an egg to have a fertilized egg. Now, aging and male sperm quality. So why do you have that? Well, one, maybe men don't want to have offspring at that age, but say they are trying to have that. Well, they may encounter difficulty the older they get. So things that healthy sperm decrease with age. So again, like remember, just at baseline, a big chunk of the sperm are dead when they actually get ejaculated. And as men get older, now you start seeing more of those abnormalities, those weird shapes with double heads or double bodies, or they're just spinning around in circles. So then this is another reason why older men have trouble producing offspring. But again, how many sperm are needed to fertilize an egg? Say they're still producing 40 million sperm and only 1% is actually still viable. Well, you still have what? 400,000 sperm, and you just need, again, one sperm and one egg. Now, this is Charlie Chaplin. So famous entertainer. I haven't watched his movies, but I know who he is. And back in the era of silent films. And who is this? What's his link? Well, you probably can guess. Yes, there is a connection. They are related. So what do these men have in common? This is Christopher Chaplin. Now, is Christopher Chaplin his like a nephew or his grandson? Christopher Chaplin is actually his son. So he actually had Christopher Chaplin at 73 years old. So do the math. He was 73 years old when he had Christopher Chaplin, and his wife at the time was 37. So yes, Charlie Chaplin, he was an entertainer, but he was still virile and he was still able to produce offspring at 73 years old. Now, more well, relatively modern, this is still before my generation too. This is Mick Jagger. Now, this is his, I should check if they're still together, but his partner is Melanie Hamrick, born 1986. Yeah, so definitely a May-December relationship, but he becomes a father again, the eighth child at 73. So again, doesn't mean even though that the amount of births to older men goes down as you get towards 55, doesn't mean it's impossible for men past 55 to actually produce offspring. So again, you just need one, and as long as you get one that makes it to the goal finish line, then you can have a fertilized egg. And this one, I'm not sure if it's fake news. I've seen it on like farmer claims to be world's oldest new dad. I haven't seen any medical journals that did like DNA tests to see whether he is the parent father of this child. But again, if he does, he's still producing some viable sperm and it's making its way to the egg in his younger wife. It could be possible. And yeah, supposedly there's another one. Like I have had trouble finding medical verification of this, but if they just produce one sperm that's viable and makes it to the egg, then yep, it is possible.